Brian Boone, good evening. Hey, everybody. Sorry if you're picking up. I had my mic off because I'm using the hypervolt again on my feet. Boone, what's happening? How's the neighborhood? We're not too far away now. Me being over at the studio. Hey, Emily. Welcome back. Emily got to do the flow class this morning live, which was cool. The feet are very important, and I feel like, I was in my backyard most of the time, and barefoot in the backyard is different than when I think we get used to things. And I came back to the studio and I've been walking barefoot, and we have concrete floors. And I think just being barefoot on the concrete floor is just feeling it. You like it as Boone. You like it as long as I don't steal your spot. I'm kind of starting to dig this spot on the in the main studio here. I'd imagine there's some businesses like this Hypervolt, or it's the company's called Hypervice, and I'd imagine they're going to do well. There are places doing well out of this because you can't go get a massage. People can't get massages. So these little massage guns, it's not like I guess it is kind of like the old school massage chair when those first came out. Everybody's like, I gotta have a massage chair, and then you sat in it for like a few months, and then you never ended up using it. But I think these have a little bit longer, pretty good how you can put them wherever you want to. Um, and it actually still feels better if somebody else does it for you, but it feels pretty good doing it yourself. Hey, Terry, everything okay on your guys' side as far as the mic volume and everything? Let me know if anything sounds too loud or if I'm shouting or not speaking loud enough. I always like to check in on that kind of stuff. Doing a Participating in an event on Saturday. My part is teaching a 30-minute yoga practice and meditation at 12:40. It's an event put on by a friend of mine named Lacey Stone. She's another instructor here in Los Angeles, and she's brought together, I think, 10 of us instructors here from LA, and we're going to do a whole day called a sweatathon. So I'm the last experience at 12:40 Pacific time. I have 2 free tickets, so I was telling everybody, if you're interested, let me know, and I'll just randomly call out a couple names tomorrow morning in the but it's also just $45 and you get the whole day of experiences. You can jump in. There's a core session and there's a hit session. I think there's boxing, and then there's a little panel, wellness panel, and of course yoga and meditation with me. So that effort or that fundraising goes towards direct relief for COVID-19. Hey Sean, so glad you're joining us, and I'm not sure what part of town, but I know you're back in LA. So I wonder if are you close to the studio? Where are you at? Hey Christine, we're gonna have to have a real retreat of detoxers after this quarantine when we can all get together again. Such a good such a good crew. I mean, you guys are showing up every night, so hopefully there's an appreciation. It's sending you off into your sleep, and I know Woni's mom over in Australia, she's doing this at the beginning of her day so that she can practice with her daughter here in Los Angeles. Oh, Echo Park, it's not far. Right now, no traffic, nothing's far, but even once things get going again, I have a couple students, several students at the park that come over um, to the studio for practice. So, the Ellie, good evening. Oh, thanks, Boone. We can share, we can tag team. I guess when I'm teaching, you can practice here, and then when I'm not teaching, I'll practice there. Maybe that's a good compromise. A lot of that stuff, you guys, people would come in and just so crazy to think about. Just walking into a building is not the same, or it won't be the same for some time. We're supposed to be just a heads up, and we'll send out emails to everybody through the studio here. But we're going to be hearing within the week from the governor, Governor Newsom, in regards to the guidelines for fitness coming out of the lockdown and the quarantine. So fingers crossed. I think we could do a really good job, and obviously cleanliness is always a priority, but social distancing and proper spacing to get some of this energy flowing back through the studio. So I'm looking forward to hearing, when those guidelines come out, and then of course I'll, interpret them, and there's going to be this there's going to be this process of interpretation based on, I'm sure, what size of studio you are, and what size the rooms are and things like that. So we'll interpret that and get the information out to you guys. And anybody not here in LA, don't worry, we're going to keep live streaming classes so that you guys can be a part of the community. And then hopefully when you come visit LA one day, you'll stop by the studio. Debo, Derek, PG. I've completely lost again what day it is. No idea. It's so crazy. Even when you think about it, you're like, wait, let me think about it for a second. And you're like, I still don't know. There you are. Hey, Moni. Man, how's everybody doing from this morning? I think I was explaining, can't remember if it was last night or this morning, but half your body weight in ounces of water. This is my third one, so I'm right at about 100 ounces, which is over double my body weight. So, or over half of my body weight in ounces. So when we finish this, it'll be about 100 ounces. Tim, what's up? Welcome. Peter, hope you guys are well. Hey, 1 minute um, if you have a yoga block, get your yoga block. If you don't, I'm sure you have your designated pillow or blanket that you've been using for the practice. If you're new to the practice, welcome. We call it either a yoga prop like a block, or we just call it the stack because you're making your own props at home. So it could be a pillow or a blanket, and just have that by your mat. It's nice to have because you're going to be settling into these postures, and you don't want to be holding yourself up and creating this rigidity. We're working into the soft tissue and the connective tissue fascia of the body and that release. And so it's similar, like I was showing you guys on that massage gun. You kind of put it on a spot, and then when you stop, you'll feel the pulsating effect, the flow, the chi kind of moving around that part of your body. So we're doing that here in a way where we're holding the poses and settling and softening the muscles in the poses. And then when we come out, we call it the rebound. This is your space. Like nobody can get to you in this space, even if there's other people around you. You come out of a pose and you're in a rebound, you're just like, I really don't hear, see, or think about, much else going around. It's that good sometimes in what you're feeling inside. Hi, Roz. All right, you guys, 7:30. So I'm asking everybody to transition over to Spotify. Continue doing the earbuds just in case somebody doesn't have Spotify set up yet and you've been using earbuds. But by next week, we're just going to all hit play at the same time on Spotify because there's been some dropout and whatnot with the earbuds. So I'm going to start my playlist now. If you're having your playlist on Spotify, or if you're still following on earbuds, go ahead and start that now. And once you get your volume set, if you need to make any adjustments, we're learning a lot these days about mindful adjustments and the shit we used to do and how we would, have these mindless reactions. There's just really not a lot of space for. They really just realize that it doesn't serve much to mindlessly react to, anything that's going on. And it's really not our job to try to control things or to control each other. And so this practice can help us and suit us in a way to lessen that reactivity, right? Hold ourselves up in the highest regard and, character and stuff like that. Let's start lying down on our back tonight. Once you get your volume set, Nari, hi Pamela. Head towards what will be the top of your mat, and then let your legs extend long. If you want anything under your head, sometimes I'll use the block pillow. Nice way for traction. You guys ever see that thing? So many things they sell, but all you really need is just to put something under your head. It's like the neck hammock or something. You like hang it from the door, but you could just put a yoga block or something firm enough, and then your neck will receive the traction, your shoulders settle down. Let your legs go long, but take the rigidity out of straightening the legs. So there's probably going to be a little bend to your knees. And based on the bones in your hips, and some of you, your feet are going to flop out, and the inner edges of your feet are going to be facing straight up. Some of you, one foot's out a little bit further than the other. This doesn't mean that your muscles are tighter on one side necessarily. It could just be the way that your bones are shaped on one side of your body is different. That's very common, very normal. And so please, for the next hour, let's let go of, what we think it should look like and really investigate what these sensations feel like. And stay present with and observe our mind. And to observe our mind and stay patient in that, we can simply watch the breath. And we can watch the air come into the body. You're keeping your breath natural and without forcing it or changing it in any way. But if there's any moments where it's just right there and you feel like you want to take a sigh or a deeper breath, you can go ahead and do that. That's your body. That's your inner working. And telling you that it's ready to let go of that breath in a bigger way. You can do that. And let's go ahead and see where we're at tonight. Close your eyes. In stillness, I'll give you about a minute and check in, scan the body, and practice this flip of the switch to observation, into being versus doing. And thought it felt pretty cool the other night, those of you that were practicing when I was guiding that seated meditation, and I said place the back of your right hand into the palm of the person, and to your left, or I mean to your right in their left hand. So we all kind of virtually placed our hands into each other's palms. And based on who's here in the practice, that pretty much connects us around the entire world. Something that may not have been as palpable in the process before we had this opportunity to share the practice in this way. And that reassures you that your part is very important, and we're so glad that you're all here and practicing together. And take a deeper breath, feel your belly rise and fall. And then go ahead and bend your legs so that your feet are flat. We're going to start in a twist. Take your right leg and your thigh, cross it over your left thigh. Like you're sitting cross-legged on a chair, but you're on your back. And you're welcome to keep the block pillow or the actual pillow under your head. Scoot your hips over to the right. And go ahead and roll your knees gently without forcing it. Let your knees come down to the left. You can make those mindful adjustments. You want to certainly be feeling something, but you might take the arms out. I'll give you plenty of suggestions and then let you know when it's time to just drop in and be still with it. But you want to feel something, and yet it shouldn't be overwhelming to the point in where you have the urge to fidget or move. At this point, you might pick up on that urge. It's part of the practice 3-4 minutes into a pose, but not necessarily right at the beginning. Feeling something, but not overwhelmed. And begin to settle in the body stillness, the natural breath, the release and the relaxation of your jaw, and your neck, around your eyes and across your forehead. Mindfulness, notice what's happening while it's happening. Feelings, thoughts, emotions. Peace. benefits of twisting aren't necessarily received while you're twisting. It can feel like it's holding you up and getting quite tight, but it's really in that rebound. Eventually, when we meet the space where we let go of the twist and then let that flow in the chi, that fresh flow and chi run through the spine. You may notice in the silence you kind of fall out and drift to another place. So even though you're feeling sensations, you don't have to sit in the depth of attaching yourself to that sensation. You can notice it. It's a feeling in the body that you really can't push on, but you could wave a wand over. And then slow motion, start to bring your hips back square. And feel any of that achiness. And notice and watch sensations change. And then we can go ahead and uncross the right leg. And catch your first rebound, everybody. Legs go straight. Arms by your sides. If you need any adjustments on your block pillow or your stack. And reset your bum, and then go ahead and get as comfortable as you lie down and still yourself in the rebound Shavasana. On the really good detox nights, I fall asleep in the rebound. And think of this practice, everyone, like a color swatch. All the different shades. And they have a color, and you're traveling across that spectrum. And sometimes the shade's a bit darker, sometimes it's lighter. And feel good. Take a deeper breath in. And a light sigh, exhale the air out. may have moments where you feel so good and so much at peace that you don't want to move. Don't. There's no need to be on time. You've made it to your mat, you let go of time. And when you feel like moving and coming into the other side, and you can always join us. And bend the legs so your feet are flat. Take your left leg, wrap it over your right thigh so it's like eagle legs. And walk your hips over to the left side of your mat. And go ahead and roll your knees down to the right. And keep the shoulders heavy. Take the rigidity out of the twist. I mean, this is doing quite a number on your energy line. You know, nothing else in your day would you find yourself, maybe if you're, rotating, obviously we rotate, but to actually sit in the compression of a twist for 4 or 5 minutes, it doesn't exist but here. And explore your softness and release muscles through your body, and where you may feel them more active, let them go. And start to practice stillness. And watching the air as it comes into your body, and watching the air as it goes out. Other than my voice, if you do fall asleep, I can't wake you up. I've seen many people fall asleep in a twist. And check it out if you even catch yourself snoring at a certain point. The relief in what we're telling our nervous system right now is that we can be, versus the pressure of doing something, even if it's doing something for yourself, still different than being with what is. Totally different interpretation to your mind, therefore to your central nervous system. Just feel that fading out, fading in, fading here, fading there. It's like going across those color swatches, just different shades. And take it slow, you'll find some sensitivity. And so inch by inch, and through the achiness of the release, and we'll start to roll our hips back onto the mat. Feel your spine coming back to neutral. Uncross your left leg. And let's go ahead and set up for the rebound with your legs straight. And get relaxed. And your arms resting along your sides. If you need to reset your head or your shoulders, soften your bum, go for it. And enjoy this rebound. And come back wherever you went. Let's take, if you have the pillow or the block pillow underneath your head, please take it out. And just slide it away. And let your head come all the way down, and then you can take your arms over your head. And feel the stretch arms over your head. And you're welcome to point your toes. And keep your arms up, bend your legs. And roll onto your right side, come into the fetal position. And so we'll turn the hips, and so they stack with gravity. So onto your right hip. And rest your head into your right arm on the bicep. You can adjust your knees, bring them up higher, keep them down low. And let your left arm rest by your side. And let's bring your right hand or your left hand around to the ground. You make your way over onto your belly, set up onto your forearms, coming into Sphinx pose. And you can have your block or your pillows just out in front. Elbows under your shoulders or slightly forward. Feet can slide out a little bit wider. And so this is going to put a little bit of compression down into your low back. And so we're going to let the low back receive, and coming out of those long hold twists. But then our focus will be on the expansion across our upper back and our shoulder girdle. So take your right hand behind your left elbow. So your right hand goes across the mat behind your left elbow. And then your left hand comes to curl the fingertips around your right elbow and your tricep. And let your pubic bone get heavy into the mat, into the floor. And then start here by just releasing the chest. Here, releasing the chin down towards the chest. Now, if you're looking down at your forearms, we're going to attempt to bring your elbows right into the midline of your body. So if you're to draw a line from the base of your pelvis through your spine, you want the elbows one in front of the other on that line. So slide your left hand out to the right, and then slide your right hand out to the left until your elbows are on that center line. And turn the back of the hands onto the floor so your palms face up. And now slowly we're just going to start to let gravity bring the upper body down over the arms. And if you're too far back, you just tuck your toes under and give your pelvis a little lift and scooch forward. And then untuck the toes and continue to let the chest come down over the arms. And your head can release anywhere it finds comfort. And relax the legs and re-soften the hips. And it just depends on your bone structure. It might not be the most comfortable thing if you got real bony hips. And so perhaps you need to slide your towel or a blanket under for more padding. Think padding will comfort so that you can let go and release more. And there is no expectation when you're being. And so notice the things if they, or that energy tries to pull you off of your mat or to move your mind away from this beautiful state of observing the feelings and the mind and stillness. Feel the breath roll through your torso. Start to hover your head just a bit. And you might feel this. Begin to slide your right elbow back out. And then slide your left elbow out. And slide your arms all the way out. Can feel good to take them out and up into a Y shape. And then release the chest. Turn your right cheek, right side of your head down to the ground, please. And see what feels better, to have your heels flop out or the heels of your feet flop in. Bring yourself back slowly. Chin to mat. Slide your elbows back in. And so the chest lifts up, and then we're back into that compression of Sphinx pose for the lower spine. Time if you've realized, oh, I do have those bony hips, which is fine. And sometimes the bones protrude more out in front of the body. Put a pillow, put a blanket, put something in between that bone and the ground so that you don't have to sit. And with that sensation, you can focus on releasing and through other sensations. And let's cross the left hand behind the right elbow this time. And take your right hand across, fingertips around the left elbow. There's been a lot of drag that we've created on the sacrum tonight. And the sacrum stores and holds on to a lot of emotion. So if you're feeling emotional, nobody's going to judge you. And even if we're in class together, and sometimes you'll have one person that starts to cry, and we have no idea what the tears may be. They may be tears of joy. They may be tears of release. They could be, tears of hope or sadness. We don't know. But many times it's that access. It's the permission and breaking through to that layer and where you trust the release enough. And then you notice another person starts to cry, and then another person starts to cry. I've had these practices where 30 people are all crying. And we have no idea why. We just know that it's energy, and we know that the body is processing and releasing. You slide your left hand out to the right. You're going to line up the elbows with the midline of your body and turn the palms up to the back of the hands. And certainly this side could feel different than the other. If you need any adjustments and so that the chest is over the arms, you could always tuck your toes. And then lift and scoot your pelvis forward an inch. And then let's start to let the chest come down over the arms. And it's drawing in to compress the space in the chest while expanding and opening parts of your back and your traps on your neck and your lats and underneath your shoulder blades and your rhomboids in a way probably you don't do very often. So if you feel it, sit with it, acknowledge it. And bring it back, feel a breath wherever you may have gone. And you're so welcome to keep your eyes closed. And inch by inch, start to slide your left elbow out. And then your right elbow back. And take the arms back out into a Y. And then we can turn on to the left cheek this time. Relax your jaw, use the ground. It's good feedback for the body and teaching it how to relinquish its perception of control. Its interpretation of life through your experience. And so that we can blend life with the awareness and the space and include the unknown. breath brings you back, chin towards the mat. Slide your hands back in. And then go pretty slow. Make your way to your elbows. And then make your way up to your knees. You can draw your belly, support your low back as you lift your hips. Again, there's going to be probably a vulnerability there. And then from your knees, make your way back to your hands. It should feel like you're about 90 years old and trying to lift yourself off the ground. See, we've dumped all the weight down into our joints, so the heaviness is part of the practice. So we're moving very slowly. Noticing all the aches. The achiness is the sign that you've gotten deeper into the joint. You can feel it a little bit here with your head heavy and sway your hips a little bit from side to side if that feels nice. If not, remain still. And then back to center. Let's slide the left knee to the outside of your left wrist. Left heel in, so you're angling the shin. It could be like a 45-degree angle of your left shin. And cross your mat. And then slide your right knee back. So we're setting up for a pigeon pose. And sensation to your outer left thigh. You might feel it in your bum. And again, it's going to pull out a little bit more space in for your sacrum. So if the sacrum, it's a triangular bone at the base of your spine. And, if the sacrum is nutated, which means it can be tilted or twisted, it's going to throw the whole alignment from your pelvis into your spine, which is going to affect in the energy line. It's like when your stomach isn't feeling well, right? You really can't focus and concentrate on anything else. And so we got to get the hips right and to get the energy through the spine right, and so that we can feel the mind right. And come down onto the elbows. You make fists with your hands. So even if you can easily flop all the way down onto your belly tonight, based on what we've done thus far, it's all connected. And make fists with your hands and set your left fist on top of your right fist. And then bring your forehead, your third eye center, onto your top fist. I think I've told you all, if not, or if I have, you'll hear it a second time, but the story confession from a student I had a long time ago, every time he said that the teacher would describe the third eye, he didn't know where it was. And he didn't know that it was the space on your forehead. He actually thought it was kind of down in your butt. Oh, these things. I can remember practicing for years in yoga classes, and I had no frickin' clue what the teachers were talking about. So if you've ever fallen into that category, join the party. The days at the end of a practice when the teacher would say namaste and you weren't even sure what that was, and maybe you wouldn't say anything or just kind of mumble something back. Did that probably for like 3 years. Relax all the muscles in your neck here, and you're going to feel the weight. You didn't know how heavy your head was, but you'll feel the weight as you release the neck. And your forehead will start to kind of smash your knuckles together. Hmm. If your left hip or your leg is starting to kind of a burn or a tingling sensation below your knee, it's okay at this point. About 1 more minute on this side. And feel that space in your chest. Maybe a little sigh feels good right now. And then you can slowly, very slowly, start to hover your forehead off of your hand. And release your fingers from fists. And come back up to your palms. Keep your head heavy. Use your hands, start to slide your hips back. And bring your left knee back into a tabletop. And that left leg is going to receive the release and the rebound. And as we come into the other side, slide your right knee forward to the outside of your right wrist. Angle the shin, so turn the heel in. And you might feel that left leg for some time as it comes out of that first side. And so once you get your right shin on an angle, and hips heavy, come down onto your forearms. And we're going to put our right fist on top this time. So you can walk your elbows out a little bit wider. You make into your fists. And then go ahead and bring your forehead down onto your fist. Stay with it about 1 more minute on this side. And first, feel the forehead start to lift off of the hands. And release the fingers from fists. You make your way to your left palm. And this time you can just kind of rock off onto your right thigh. And start to drag your left foot forward. And sit up and bring both legs around in front of you. And scoot your bum forward. And again, you should feel pretty heavy, and then go ahead and lie down onto your back, please. And shoulders, hips, all the way down to your heels. Take a sigh. And make yourself comfortable. And if you have something and you'd like to cover your eyes, you can cover your eyes. In hopes that your practice has guided you internally into this rebound, this release, in the framework of peace, opening up your hips, your spine, and your mind. You're a bit more expanded now, perhaps, than when you started this practice. enjoy the state of your being. Without a dress, without the energy and the pressure, and to act right now, just appreciate the state of your being. We all made it here together. Sending you all so much love from our little studio here in LA and our yoga family to your family and to all beings tonight as we continue this process of life. And take your time here in your meditation. You can stay for as long as you like. When you are ready to go, please move slow. And keep drinking that water, everybody. And see you tomorrow morning for flow. Namaste.